Hey, my friend, welcome to the Battle for the Mind Ministries. I'm your host, Kendall Walker. If it's your first time here, it's a pleasure. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the little bell and subscribing. This ministry is dedicated to teaching the Bible, theology, apologetics, answering frequently asked questions, and much, much more. And best of all, it's all Bible-based. Greetings, my friend, and welcome to the Battle for the Mind. So far, we've been looking at how do we know the Bible is the Word of God. And I walk you through three acronyms so far. The acronym is MAPS. M standing for manuscript evidence, the A for archaeological evidence, the P is for prophecy, and the S, we'll deal with that right now, is for statistical probability. Now, for many people, the phrase statistical probability is a little bit confusing and difficult to understand. So let me explain it this way. What are the chances? That's it right there. What are the chances? In other words, say for example, I have a quarter and I'm going to flip the quarter and it's going to land either heads or tails. I've got one quarter with two sides, so my chances are 50-50. And that's basically a way to help us understand what are the chances of statistical probability when it comes to the Messiah. Now, understanding this is crucial, especially in regards to scriptures, because if it's correct, and I'm saying it is, it speaks to the divine authorship of the scriptures. Secondly, it speaks to the testimony and the trustworthiness of the message of the scriptures. And lastly, it speaks to the minute probability or chance of fulfillment. See, the fact is this: anyone can make predictions, but to have those predictions or prophecies fulfilled is vastly different. Having said that, let's dive in. Now, let me give you a series of examples. Now, the first example would simply be this: what is the likelihood of a person predicting today the exact city in which the birth of a future leader would take place, say well into the 22nd century? This is indeed what the prophet Micah did 700 years before the Messiah came on the scene. Here's another question. What is the likelihood of predicting the precise manner of death that a new, unknown religious leader would experience 1,000 years from now, a manner of death that was presently unknown and to remain unknown for the next hundreds of years? Again, this is exactly what David did in 1000 BC. Here's another one. What is the likelihood of predicting the specific date of the appearance of some great future leader thousands of years in advance? Again, this is what Daniel did 530 years before Christ walked on the scene. Let me ask another question. If one were to conceive 50 specific prophecies about a person in the future whom one has never met, just what's the likelihood that this person will fulfill all 50 predictions? All 50 prophecies. Let me give you an example of that. How does someone arrange to be born in a specific family? That's a tough one. Here's another one. How does one arrange to be born in a specified city in which the parents don't actually live? Here's another one. How does one arrange their own death, and specifically by crucifixion, with two other individuals, and then arrange to have their executioners gamble for their clothing? Again, this is what took place according to the Bible. You see the prophecy in Psalm 22:18, and you see the fulfillment in John 16:19. We're not done. Here's another one. How does one arrange to be betrayed in advance? Or how does one arrange to have the executioners carry out the regular practice of breaking the legs of two victims on either side, but not that own individual. Because that's exactly what happened. They did not break the legs of Jesus, but they broke the legs of the two individuals on both sides of him. Here's another one. How does one escape from a grave and appear to people after having been crucified? You know, it may be possible for someone to fake one or two of the messianic prophecies, such as the prophecy we mentioned last time, where Jesus mentioned that the children will be glad to see him, or Jesus talking about his enemies hating him. But these prophecies are very specific. In fact, the science of probability, again, the science of chance, attempts to determine the chance that a given event will take place. Now, there was a professor at Westmont College. He's calculated the probability of one man fulfilling the major prophecies made concerning the Messiah. Finally, after sitting down and doing that, he submitted his figures for review to a committee of the American Scientific Affiliation. Now, upon examination, they verified that his calculations were dependable and accurate in regard to scientific material presented. For example, concerning Micah 5:2, where it states that Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, the professor and his students determined the average population of Bethlehem from the time of Micah to the present. Then they divided it by the average population of the earth during the same time period. Thus, they concluded that the chance of one man being born in Bethlehem was 1 in 300,000. Now, after examining only 8 different prophecies, they conservatively estimated that the chance of one man fulfilling 8 prophecies was 1 in 10 to the 17th power. Let me say that again. 1 in 10 to the 17th power. To illustrate how large that number is, 10 to the 17th power, you have to envision a figure of 17, a vision of 10 with 17 zeros behind it. The professor gave this for an illustration. He says, if you mark one of 10 tickets and place all the tickets in a hat and thoroughly stir them and then ask a blindfolded man to draw one, his chance of getting the right ticket is 1 in 10. Now suppose we take 10 to the 17th power and use silver dollars and lay them across the face of Texas. Now they cover all the state 2 feet deep. Now we mark one of these silver coins and stir the whole mass thoroughly all over the state. We blindfold the man and then tell him that he can travel as far as he wishes, but he must pick up one silver dollar that the special mark has on it. Now here's a question. What is the chance that he would get the right one? Just the same chance that the prophets would have had in writing these 8 prophecies and having them come true in only one person, from their day to the present time. Again, why is this important? They're important because these figures, based on the fulfillment of just 8 prophecies alone, proves that God inspired the writings of the prophets. The likelihood of a mere chance is only 1 to the 17th power. Now, another way of saying this is that any person who minimizes or ignores the significance of the biblical prophecies, these signs concerning the Messiah, would be utterly foolish. Again, remember, these are only 8 prophecies, 10 to the 17th power. In fact, in another calculation, the professor used 48 prophecies. Even though he could have used Albert Edersheim's 456, he only chose 48 and arrived at a very conservative estimate that the probability of fulfilling 48 prophecies in one person is the incredible number of 10 to the 157th power. Again, that's 10 with 157 zeros behind it. Again, why do we say that? Because the chances of one person fulfilling all these prophecies, all these predictions, is just that astronomical. But what do we find? We find that Jesus Christ fulfilled these prophecies. Again, why is that important? Because it points to the authorship of scriptures. It points to the testimony and trustworthiness of the message itself. And again, it reminds us that the Bible is the Word of God. Again, why is this important? It's important because God always keeps his promises. He always keeps his promises. Until next time, may God be with you. May he bless you. And remember, dig into the Word of God and get the Word of God into you. God bless.